Hello, folks. Welcome to the show. We're gonna be talking about the ancient, I don't know, occult practices that seem to be in our government. But we're gonna first talk about what happened today in Utah with Charlie Kirk. It appears that he's been killed, and it's a sad day for MAGA and for conservatism and Christians, because he embodied a lot of the best attributes. He was a guy out walking it like he talks it, and he probably won the election for Trump in 2024 by getting a lot of the youth on board. Certainly a big contributor, and some crazy individual. I assume it'll turn. I don't know what happened there. The last thing I checked, they hadn't found him or her, but I'm assuming it'll be a crazy white liberal man, transgender person, or something like that that did it. And
Well, yeah, that's a trend. That's a trend now. Is that the crazy MK Ultra transgendered loonies who think they're who are demonized, or at least think they are because it's probably been brainwashed, and because they're going through psychotherapy and all this other nonsense to
taking
adjust,
drugs.
taking drugs and all that stuff to adjust to the idea that they're the sex that they're not, or whatever. It makes them. And the thing is no one's stopping them from doing that. They can do whatever they want. They're just angry because we don't approve of them. So they're going around shooting people, and that just more goes to the trope that it's mental illness. It has nothing to do with gender fluidity is mental illness. And,
Yes, and I don't know that's what it's going to be. I mean, at this point, there's not a lot of information on it. It's just a really sad day, and although it's not our topic today, I felt like it was something that we had to at least mention because he's such a huge figure in the conservative influencer, podcaster, you know, like group. I don't know what to call it, genre. And he's a young man, 31, I suppose, and now he's dead. And you turn on the internet and you see all these leftist women with nose rings celebrating that he's dead. It's disgusting. I mean,
well, our country was founded on the principles of free speech. People died for that, and they just died again. They have these beliefs, and they think that no one should oppose them. It's just something about the nose ring. I don't know what it is. Once you install a nose ring, you become a tyrant. It's just crazy. They want death upon everyone who doesn't agree with them. And I had to say that's just a communist way of thinking of things, and they're continuing down that path. The communists have always done that, and I guess when you have a self-hatred and no love for anyone else, you end up like that. You want everyone else dead, and you probably want yourself dead, and it's coming to fruition, and that's the way things are. I mean, I'm very disappointed. It's not going to bode well for them. Whoever planned this obviously was a plan. It wasn't just some lone gunman, and they're going to claim that, of course, but obviously someone planned this out, and they already have one person in custody who didn't do the shooting, but they got in the way of the investigation. So right there, that looks like there's more than one person. So I guess we'll see. And it's sad, and my heart and prayers go out to his family and his children, 2 children. He's cut down in the prime of his life, and now his children and his wife have nothing. And these liberal commentary people on mainstream media
it's disgusting.
were celebrating it and saying he deserved it because he was saying hate speech. That anyone that disagrees with him is hate speech. Those people have immediately apologized, but
I don't see how
they
that
should
could
be
be good
fired.
enough. Yeah, they need to be fired.
They need to be
Um,
fired. You don't celebrate someone's death who just believes in free speech, has never hurt anybody in his life.
No, the left is always doing that, and I think this plays into a little bit about what we're talking about tonight. Is that there is this sadism in the left and in our government, in the left in particular, but it's both sides. But across the elites and down through the masses, there's this bloodlust, and that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about this evening. So, every empire has the same shadow: rulers who drink blood, demand sacrifice, worship dark gods in exchange for power. That's from Samaria and Babylon to Rome to the medieval Europe, all the way to the halls of Washington, D.C. and Silicon Valley. This gruesome story keeps repeating, and we're just witnessing a little bit of it today. It's not a myth, it's not coincidence, it's the same occult practices adapting with each time period, wearing different masks, but always feeding on the innocent, demanding, dominion over everything through fear, which we're seeing tonight. Tonight, we're going to trace the unbroken bloodline of evil from the first cities to the modern global elites. And so, Tony and I are going to be talking about ancient Babylon through to the Middle Ages up to the modern era, and this pervasive evil that seems to be everywhere in our history throughout time. The same thing, it's a different name all the time, but it's the same sort of practice over and over again, where go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, this is just some of the names for it. It is called the Anunnaki alien ruler theory. There's the reptilian bloodlines, but they all engage in the same crap. The Illuminati Egyptian mystery cults, the Babylon Brotherhood in a New World Order, the Horus Seth cult wars, Akhenaten's monotheistic solar cult, and so on and so forth. Because the solar cult was actually set up to go against the Horus Seth cult wars. So monotheism was invented to go against these cults.
Yeah, some of those things are actually, although they're, my understanding is, they're two sides. One is evil and one is good. And the thing that I'm curious about, and I believe we can identify the evil side fairly easily, is who are the white hats? That's where can I sign up for that?
Christians? It's the same.
No,
because it's the ancient elites in hybrid theories, also, and the secret societies with modern extensions. And these secret societies are always, they have these secret knowledge that makes you a better person, but it always involves like torturing people and bloodlust and stealing and corruption. That's their secrets.
I'm very
that's
certain.
Their secrets.
I'm very certain, unfortunately, that not every Christian group is good. I'm
not talking about all Christians. I'm talking about.
Well, that's the problem. You have to be very specific, and like the Catholics are very obviously.
There's no group out there, just a group of just Christians. Say whether they're the Coptics or the Orthodox or the Baptists, that are all good. Everything's been infiltrated, but that doesn't mean their basic ideas are not the ones that can save the world. Our basic foundation of this country was formed on them. There was also people infiltrating even back then. I mean, there's always the other side, people who want power and want to control others, and there's the people who don't want power and don't want to control others. And they just, this is a fight between, they believe in, all these cults believe in one thing. They believe that there is an order to the universe. They're on top, and everyone else, the hell with them. And that everything else is below them, and they deserve to be treated poorly. And so I don't know how they determine they're on top, other than they're sneakier than everyone else. But
Well, you said you had a video.
I have several.
Well, and I gave you several as well, but
but I just want to start off with just some creepy stuff from the 1930s. This goes all the way back to the 1930s. This is, it goes back further than that. It goes back to pre-Babylon, but the, just in the United States, the myth of the lizard people, for example, is not anything new. It's not just something that David Icke came up with. It's truly been on for a long time, and Warren Shuffeld, he was talking about lizard people in the catacombs under L.A. and throughout the country since 1933.
Well,
so this is
before you go on to that, there is another sidebar. Is
sure,
that
this doesn't have to be done? This is just something. It doesn't have to be done in a specific order. You can do it the way
but I just wanted to add to color what you're saying there about the lizard people. Is the if you go back to the Anunnaki and Babylon, the Anunnaki, the sky people, they weren't they were kind of human like. They look, that's the general, they're giants, but they look like people. But their worker class, and I forgot the name of them, their Gigi is what they called them, they're reptilian. And they actually rebelled against the Anunnaki, and that's why humans were made, is because they were treating these Agigi as lower class people, as slaves. And they rebelled, and that's why they eventually invented humans, according to the Anunnaki story.
Yeah, and it's not that far from,
so the lizard people thing is more like 7,000 years old.
Yeah, the lizard people goes way back. I'm not saying that it started with the Anunnaki, because I did the research, and you can also say that's an analog to fallen angels. It's another thing. They're fallen from grace because they rebelled against the kingdom of good, and they were a negative influence on mankind. They hated us from the beginning because
and even essentially the serpent being in the Bible as a lizard, a snake. Yes. Again, another analogy to the lizard people, in my opinion.
It is. It's absolutely 100%, and it's been, and it's in other religious texts too. It's just not the Bible. It's considered, dragons are considered to be generally, as a general rule, or lizards to be evil. And that goes throughout history since the dawn of time, since man probably was speaking.
Since we were fighting dinosaurs?
Probably.
Let's see that.
I certainly didn't want to fight any dinosaurs. If there's humans around with dinosaurs, God bless them. I didn't want to be there.
So let's see the video. Okay. I got you full screen.
Why isn't it playing? Okay, let's get into business here.
So what does that say on the bottom there?
This from you. This is the underground city that was found beneath Los Angeles by a man named Warren Shuffeld. It was discovered using a device he invented to detect underground tunnels and caverns. Shuffeld mapped out a network of passageways stretching for miles beneath the city. And here is where it gets crazy. His maps indicated a central chamber filled with gold and advanced artifacts. Shuffeld said that upon analysis of the artifacts and the scriptures found within the passageways, they all pointed to a lost continent named Lemuria. Despite his groundbreaking findings, city officials abruptly shut down his excavation. They officially claimed that the tunnels were old subway lines. But this is where they messed up. The Los Angeles subway system didn't begin operation until 1990, over 70 years after Schuffeld's discovery. So what subway lines were they referring to? Some speculate that they were referring to an ancient civilization that had access to a subway-like system. Some have even gone further to say that the city officials had knowledge from the future. They knew that Los Angeles would eventually have a running subway system in the years to come. Therefore, it would be the perfect cover-up, perfectly concealing its true origins.
Weird.
So, are they the ex-slave race of the Anunnaki colonizing this world?
Uh, I don't know, obviously, but um the ongoing I guess concept about the lizard people. I mean, I even remember the lizard people being in a show that I watched as a kid. I think it was called like The Land of the Lost, or
Mm-hmm.
you remember?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And
They were even on. They even fought some lizard people in Star Trek.
yes, and I think there is in fiction this propensity to make stories that tell the truth but are told in a fictional way so that there's plausible deniability. Everything from like Close Encounters to the Third Kind, uh, to the idea of Star Trek in general, to many of the fictional stories that we've seen throughout time. I think that they're all some sort of programming that the powers that be participate in. I don't really fully understand what they're doing, but it seems like that they like to do it.
So that's the rub. It's basically how much of that is fiction and how much of that is them. What is the word for it? Laying down the groundwork for their next BS story.
Sure.
And how much of it is true. And so they're constantly weaving in facts with fiction to make us distrust reality, and that's one of their goals, is to have us distrust reality. And if we can't discern between truth and falsehood, then we're ruled by emotions, and they can easily make us do what they want. Then they can make us do things like
I
shoot
I
Charlie
heard that
Kirk.
it's even more than that, and I sent you a video. So I sent you two bunches of videos. One has two in it, and let's play both of those if you can. Okay. I think they're fairly short. And just as a disclaimer for what we're doing here, you know,
Which one do you want to watch? Evil Must Be Consent, or no?
Yeah, let's start with that one.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just leave myself small.
As a general rule, that's true. Here we go.
I don't hear anything. There's no volume. Are you hearing it? I don't know if you can, I'm not getting any audio from you right now. In the past, when you switch back and forth, somehow that messes up the the audio.
Okay, let's try it now.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay.
That'll really suck if we can't hear my videos.
Can you hear it?
No. All I can hear is you.
Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to go to something else then.
Okay. Well, try the next one. If that one doesn't work, then we're kind of screwed. But this one was pretty interesting. He basically implies that in order for them to exist, they have to ask for permission. And so we have to give them consent to fuck us.
Hey, I have the same video.
Say what?
I have that same video. I was going to show it, but I didn't.
Off of X.
Yeah. Okay, let's see if
Great minds thinking alike, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. You know, we're not going to go that far.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Pro stream camera. Screen share. It's Zimmerman, right? That one. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear it.
Or satanic, perverted, Mesopotamian magic cults. And so these same people have very pure bloodlines. Their marriages are carefully planned. They live in huge luxury.
You can hear them or not hear them?
I can hear it.
Palaces in Venice, in Florence, in Rome, all over Italy. For instance, they set up Christianity. They set up the Vatican. They were the popes. And if you've ever noticed, the popes have that big domed hat with decorative elements on it. And that is from the pounded felt tradition of the Scythians and the Central Asians, the Iranian tribes. And it's because they want to control religion, because they control the people by controlling religion. So the Aldobrandinis, the Chikis who run the Vatican Bank, all these families are all related. They've intermarried. The whole Habsburg Empire.
I want to say one thing. That all of Christianity is not Catholic. Matter of fact, you know, they were only one of five churches.
Was set up and created by them. That was another breeding program. So there's a very long ancient history, and it's very relevant today because they're still in charge. They use religions to hide behind and conceal who they really are. But they're Zoroastrian Mithra worshippers.
And that's what I was saying our last broadcast is Zoroastrian, the Babylonian, Assyrian, and Egyptians have very similar belief systems. And they're all polytheistic. And, you know, they worship demons and good spirits. They worship everything. So it's very complicated. But it's all about controlling the underclass.
The other thing is, a lot of people don't know this, but Judaism started off as polytheistic. It started off as just like all the rest, and at some point it converted.
Well, yeah, it converted when, you know, Abraham came along. I think.
I don't know, but it's something to look into.
They continue to worship Baal and several other gods, and that is in the Christian and uh, Old Testament tradition is a reason that their temple on the mount was destroyed. Is because they continue to worship polytheistic deities, which was viewed in Christianity as being demons, and they continue to kill their children, their firstborn, and stuff. That tends to make your deity, if he is, the Lord of the universe, a little angry.
So I'll cover a little bit.
I like to say this one thing though, that throughout all these things, all these different names for the same thing, one of the main things they do is kill children. It's been that way where that's what they do.
Part of what it seems like they get out of that isn't just that they're obviously giving up the thing that they care about the most. That's one of the tenets, but it seems that it extends life.
Yeah.
It's vampirism.
The demons in general, or the Anunnaki, or not, whatever you want to call the evil ones. They're not necessarily Anunnaki, but whatever you want to call the evil beings, they are cut off from the source, and they have to do these things to get their sustenance. That's what they live off of. They're parasites.
Well, there's actually a science. So science has looked into this, and young people, let's say under 5, are just loaded with stem cells. And so if you're injecting that into you or absorbing that, it actually helps you live longer.
I'm sure it does. And that's why one of the things that the monotheistic religions stopped was the drinking of blood, even with sacrificing animals. They considered that wrong because it does that, and it can affect you negatively. And there's a lot of bad side effects from doing that. Just look at Hillary Clinton.
Well, and I have a video about her.
How could you pass her up? I mean,
right. So
even her husband said she was a demon. Her husband said that flat out. He goes, I just do what she says. She's a demon. And he was serious. He wasn't joking about it.
So the elite occults roots go back all the way to the dawn of civilization. In Sumer and Babylon, priest kings claimed power by spilling blood to the gods like Baal and Moloch. Archaeological finds in Canaan and Carthage confirm children's sacrifice as routine. As empires rose, Egypt, Greece, and Rome, the cults adapted and kept sacrificing children. Rituals hidden behind new deities and new mystery schools. The thread is continuous. The elites often live off of these sacrifices, always cloaked in religion and secrecy. And so, going all the way back to Sumer 3,000 years ago, priest kings were serving gods and spilling blood, and they're climbing up onto these ziggurats and murdering people. The Babylonians have been, that's like 2,000 years before BC. They were basically doing children's sacrifice, firstborn sacrifice, and biblical verses condemned the elites passing children through the fire, as it was called. Egyptian pharaohs claimed divine right, practicing blood rituals in the name of Isis and Osiris cults, which initiates swore to secrecy. The Phoenicians at Carthage, basically urns of sacrificed infants were uncovered by archaeologists by the tens of thousands, sacrificed to Moloch. I don't know what god that is, but the Greece Dionysian cults did it. Same thing. Rome emperors joined Mithra cults. Gladiators spilt blood in big orchestrated events, simulating battles, all basically blood sacrifices. This repeats every major
If
culture.
you look at it, in Peru and Central America too, and China, there's still the China.
The only thing that's happened, in my opinion, is the veneer of civilization has made them hide it a little better. But I have several videos in the second email I sent you. There was a bunch of other stuff in there. And so you have some thoughts on this, didn't you put together some stuff for this?
Oh yeah, and it's, if you go through the mainstream stuff and even use AI, they're going to tell you that all this stuff is conspiracy theories. And if you ask them to define the word conspiracy theory, they can't. So it's just a negative. What do you call it? They're just casting dispersions on you by making up a new name. But by the way, the CIA made up that name during the
40s.
In the 1940s, yes. They started it with the Area 51, and then they kept going with the Kennedy assassination, saying that anytime that someone came up with
an idea that they don't like, it's a conspiracy theory. Yes.
And the thing is, they turned it into a negative. It's no conspiracy theory. Conspiracy just means there's more than one person working together to hide something and to do something nefarious. That would describe 90% of the government.
Right. So there was a guy that was a CIA spook, and he went on Joe Rogan, and he talked about how one of the things that the government has mastered, the U.S. government in particular, has mastered, is by using entertainment and our collective consciousness to make us feel shame and revulsion towards certain ideas, so that we self-edit. We don't talk about it. And I think that's what's happened when we were talking a little earlier about the killing of Charlie Kirk and the killing of this woman, Rena, from Ukraine, and how nobody helped and nobody does anything about it. Now, I'm not saying somebody should have jumped in front of the bullet and stopped it from killing Charlie Kirk. There's no way to stop all that stuff. But there is a certain level. It's not even a difference. They're afraid to say or do anything that is going to get into any of these topics. Like, you can't tell a black man, listen, shut up, you're being evil, you're being a turd. You can't say that to them. That's racist. And we've all been conditioned to if we see something we don't like that is egregious, but because they're a certain color, we can't say or do anything about it. And that's very particular to white people. They have all this white guilt about being the chosen people. And I don't see. You think? Why is that? I think that there is a concerted effort to make people think that. And what has happened is fathers, including our father, I didn't get to see him a lot. He was too busy working. And so I didn't have anybody telling me, hey, that's bullshit. He did it a little bit, but if you go to school and all the people there are women and they're all saying the same thing, and every time you go in there, if you're acting up a little bit, I was a rambunctious boy. I was always in trouble. I was told my whole life, from second grade until I graduated high school, that I was a terrible person, over and over again. Every time I stood up for myself, somebody was telling me. So I almost got molested by the gym coach, who was gay and was wanting to get everybody into the showers all the time so he could watch them. And he tried to single me out personally one time, and it didn't end up well for him. Didn't end up very well for him at all. And I got thrown out of school for it. He wasn't thrown out. I was. And I was told...
I'll give you another perfect example.
And so that's what I think happened, by the way.
I was talking about the military, that there are people in the military that would stand up. But also, we had this priest in he wasn't a Catholic priest, but he was I can't remember what denomination he was, but he was sodomizing all the wives and children of the people who went to the church. And instead of court-martialing him and throwing him in jail,
They hit
they
it.
reassigned him. They reassigned him.
And so
He broke up
that's
two families. Two men found out this was going on, and they found out their wives were doing these things, and they divorced their wives over it, and nothing happened to the man.
And so I think that's part of the issue, is that because men now.
I want to emphasize that it was children too. It wasn't just the adults involved, and nothing happened to him. And that is a direct violation of UCMJ. The guy should have gone to jail for 20 years.
Well, in my high school in Sarasota, Florida, in 1992 and 93, the whole school got busted for a sex ring. Now, all the principals, all the coaches, a big portion of the teachers were all in on it, and they were all banging the football players and all the athletes and all the cheerleaders and anybody that got in trouble. And if you resisted, they threw you out, which is what happened to me. And the pressure was constantly on everybody, if you ratted anyone out, that they would do something terrible to you and that it would haunt you forever. And so that's part of the problem, is that from the bottom up, you start getting into school, you got these corrupt people, and because your parents have to work 2 jobs, and your father is working 60, 80 hours to make ends meet, and your mom is off working 40, 50 hours a week, that you end up with essentially people that are just disconnected from their children, and they don't have time to educate them. And if all you have is this, authority system, eventually you get to the point where you just don't, and that's part of the Prussian education system in general. So what do I think it is that the elites, they've come up with this system to push forward these very negative brainwashing techniques onto children, and now we've had multiple generations of it, so that the American self-reliance, I guess, has been beat out of us, and that the skeptical of authority has been beat out of us.
Yes, and I think that it's been going on for far longer than that, and because it happened when I was a kid, and I've had stories from our father saying the same thing happened to him. So this is something that's been going on a long time, like forever. This is
I'm sure, just like the rest of this,
a systematic traumatization to brainwash you to fear, not trust reason and logic. Don't stand up for yourself. Don't stand out. Just go along to get along. And that's the way to get ahead. And those similar things happened to me.
So I'm going to look it up real quick.
I didn't get thrown out. Yeah, I just made sure that I left the scene.
I hate to say it, but I am the most rebellious of Dad's children by a mile. I could never be told what to do by anybody. Not that we all don't have some of that, but I was absolutely the worst at it, or the best, depending on what you want to say. But let's go look at. Speaking of this serial traumatization, on the second series of them, there is a link to rapper Little Tony exposes record label. And let's play that.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily a badge of honor. I'm pretty stupid. I can't get along with anyone.
What is the name of it? You got to tell me what the name of it is.
It's the third
Illuminati bot, and we have it's going to wake the people up. Symbolism of the downfall. You are in assimilation.
It's the one that says rapper
organ harvesting.
No, it's the one that says
okay, Little Tony. Okay,
Little Tony exposes
Tony.
record.
Okay. There was just like 12 of them. Sorry.
Yeah. I meant them to be in the order from first to last, like moving into the modern age, but hopefully we get audio on this. This one was actually pretty interesting. So
yeah, I got booked for a photo shoot. They took me all the way up this mountain. I was on top of the mountain. We finished the photo shoot. They have OD cars. Like, they got a 3-seater McLaren. They got a Ferrari. I'm asking them, like, how y'all get all this money? They're like, we do demonic rituals. I'm laughing. No, you don't, bro. Like, how you get this money? Don't put me on. I'm trying to get like y'all. I'm like, nah, we do demonic rituals. I say, so what type of demonic rituals? He say, the Illuminati never talk to you. I'm laughing. Still laughing at him. Why y'all playing with me? How y'all getting this money? Like, no, for real. Leonardo DiCaprio do all the initiation. Like, who is that? What is you talking about, gang? He giving me a list of people who all did. I'm gonna keep it PG-13. He was basically saying, either you let them peg you or you do oral and you'll get whatever you want. Tell them what you want. If you want to be the next big actress, next big whoever, I can take you to somebody. And all you gotta let them do is do what they want to do to you just for a night. That's what he was telling me. I'm like, hell no. Like, so I'm still not trying to believe this. Now, while they doing all this, I'm trying to call my Uber. We on top of the mountain though. I don't got no service.
the audio cut out. It was playing, now your audio is completely gone. I don't know what happened. Your darn computer. You're gonna make me have to buy you one.
All the way up in the swivel.
Okay, it's back. It's going.
All the way around the mountain.
Yeah.
On the way down, we take a right. So he not going the same way that we came up. So I'm like, what the hell? So then that's what I try. I'm like, take me to go get some McDonald's. He said, we're not going to take you to get no McDonald's. We spent all this money to get you up here. This face change game in front of me. You see Venom? Kind of like that. His face is probably about this wide. Face change. I'm like, what the? Like, it's probably about like right here. Like, it threw me all the way off. I didn't know how to get out of the car. I would have been got out of the car. We in the 3-seater McLaren, so it's like a button you got to push to get up out of there. Gotcha. Now he back it into somebody's driveway. He smack a mailbox. Now he hit the button and he get up out of there. I see the button. I'm getting up out of there too. I hit the button. Guess what? It's a mailman come out of nowhere. I run up to him. I'm like, hey, bro, we getting back your truck. He looking at me. I look at him. I'm like, bro, just let me get in the back of your truck. Please just take me down to the bottom. Please just take me down to the bottom. It was God. He took me down to the bottom. And I called an Uber and I just left. And the people on the camera, you ain't got to believe me. I don't care. I'm not lying. I really saw this.
I believe it.
That's what like made me know that the devil and God was real.
You saw the darkness.
I seen it.
And now you're in the light with Jesus.
This is why I have to use my influence for good. Like how you doing.
What do you think about that one? You have no audio. It's the most finicky thing I've ever seen.
It's the when I pull up the video, it switches to the video's audio, and then when I switch it back, it keeps it on the video's audio, even though it's now shut off.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's not my computer. It's the way, as a guest, I don't have any control of anything really that much.
Well, believe it or not, I don't have much control over here either. So every episode's a new thing. What do you think of that?
I was told these things. I didn't see anybody turn into a demon in front of me, but I was offered those same things. So they're real. It's not bullshit. That's what you got to do. Either that or you have to commit some sort of sin against somebody, and they want to make sure they have a record of it. Not only do you have to do it, they want a record of it. And so they can pull it out whenever they want you to get you to conform. So it's not just a ritual, it's also insurance. They're evil. That's how when you got a bunch of criminals that are working together, how do you keep them under control? Threats. That's how the mafia works. It's just another mafia. Where did the mafia get that idea from? Older belief systems. So what's next? What do you want to look at next?
Let me just take a look at it. Not that one. Why don't we do the one right below it?
The transitioning one, filmmaker.
No, it says according to the stuntman, filmmaker Michael Smith.
Yeah. Oh, I got it. It's playing already.
Is it true that to get to a certain level in Hollywood, these famous people have to sacrifice their firstborn child? Is that a crazy thing to say?
I've heard, okay, let me just say for the record, I don't know any of this to be, I can't prove what I'm about to say. If you ask me what I can prove, I can't prove this. Mm-hmm. But if you ask me what I believe, I believe that there is a club, and I do believe that there are certain people that to attain certain stature or certain level of influence or power, fame, whatever, you're required to either sacrifice a blood sacrifice, whether it be a mom or a relative or whatever, or transition one of your kids, because it's all worshiping their God, their false God.
So what are the signs that you see that make you think that that's true?
Well, how many, what do you mean? Go Google your stars and see how many of them lost a parent, or how many of them lost a kid, to die in accidents, or died during a certain period of time in their life. Go see how many stars have transgender kids. Who do you think's pushing that? Where do you think that comes from? That is Baphomet. That is satanic.
It's dark.
It's evil.
It's very dark.
Interesting.
Today the Babylon cult is said to rule under the mask of the Democrats and the celebrity culture. The same sacrifice happens. The same symbols appear, only now they are hidden in Hollywood films, secret retreats, and coded in ceremony. Adrenochrome harvesting, child traffic networks, the satanic rituals in entertainment are not accidents. They are the continuation of the Babylonian practices. The repetition is undeniable. Every ancient pattern that we have seen in the past is reappearing now, with the elites flaunting their rituals while the media shields them. And the various things that you can point to in the modern era, Alex Jones and the Bohemian Grove stuff with, again, the Moloch owl statue. Hollywood's films like Rosemary's Baby and Eyes Wide Shut, where they basically show you the elites' occult rituals. I don't want to say the millions of missing children over the last decade. All, in my opinion, these are going to sex trafficking and adrenochrome harvesting, which we have some videos.
Don't forget the organ harvesting too.
Harvesting, yes. All to help preserve these really rich people from dying. The Epstein network, proof of elites child trafficking. The Vatican scandals, the Ninth Circle allegations of satanic sacrifice in the church hierarchies. The celebrity symbolism with the red shoes and the all-seeing eye and the horn hand signals, the same occult imagery over and over again. Even the political events constantly use Babylonian and Egyptian symbols. I don't know what I was trying to say there. And DC, like if you just look at the architecture and even the ceremonies for our various events, the music industry, like we were just talking about, Ritual performs at the Super Bowl and award shows echo ancient orgiastic occults. The repetition.
Yes, and it trickles down to the individual families. It's just not a corporate thing. They have incest and multi-generational incest, and along with trafficking in slaves and everything going along with that. Child exploitation within the families, baby farming and separation of their children, and some of those separated childs end up being stars and singers after that. So they're taken away and brought off to, say, Tavistock, and they're taught music, and they become the Beatles. So this is their method, and then they're used to brainwash us, whether they're Hollywood stars or singers or politicians or whatever. You'll be surprised to find out how many of them and how many stars actually they can't point to a parent. It's very common. So
on the adrenochrome thing, why don't we take a look at the one that actually says adrenochrome and orgasm?
Sure. That's why in Christianity you're not supposed to drink blood, because it's loaded with adrenochrome when you murder something. So you do not get addicted to that, and that's the whole idea behind that. That's why Judaism and Christianity pushed away from that, made that something you didn't do. Okay, where did it go? Where did it go?
It's the second one.
Oh, there it is. I got it.
Actually, both of them, the first and second one, are both on the same thing. But
this man has been murdered already. He's no longer around. Okay.
Like a lot of, again, going back to Charlie Kirk, you get somebody talking about, I guess, truth to power sort of thing. Next thing you know, you start getting famous because of it, because people recognize the truth of the matter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to let, it's just, this guy was killed
for
the same reason Charlie Kirk.
This gentleman was also murdered. Robert David Steele. He magically died after revealing this stuff, and of course he just died of old age or something. But sure, and he's been pushing this stuff for 30 years, so this is nothing new to him.
Children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse. It's also child torture, because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow. One of the reasons that the Falun Gong are so popular is because they're so healthy, so that you can harvest their body organs and get the very best. And then you have ritual ceremonies and ritual murder. Children are not just kids.
So yes, it's, as I said, this stuff has been going on forever, and it doesn't just stop at the corporate level or government level. It goes all the way down to the families. It's a cult, and they need to participate in these things, and they treat their loved ones, supposed loved ones, as a commodity, like you treat a sandwich, or a car or something. They just sell it and trade it like it's baseball cards or whatever, and it's sort of sick. That's because they're so tortured as children, they become transactional. In other words, there's no love in anything they do, so they look for profit. Everything's a transaction. For example, if you give a child that's been abused like that a gift, they'll go, "Why are you giving me a gift? I haven't done anything for you yet." It's really weird. So it's I just feel bad for those families. The problem is they go on to be monsters, And
well, I don't feel bad for them. I feel bad for us. They're ruling us.
There's plenty of them are not ruling anybody. They're just victims.
I have a tough time feeling bad for them. The other one is actually also on the same subject. It's the top one.
Is that the organ harvesting? Or is that
no, it's the
okay. I got
one
it.
about Hillary Clinton.
Oh yeah, this one's horrible. I've seen it before.
Well, and warning, this is horrible. What you guys are about to hear, and we don't know if this is true. We're just saying anecdotally. There's a lot of evidence of these things, and it's just scary.
I would not advise you to have a look at it. She and her spokeswoman, they put a 5-year-old girl naked on a table, bind it, and then with a scalpel they start to remove the face. You hear this child screaming, and they take off the face, and Hillary Clinton puts it on her face and goes to the child. You see, the child is all flesh, and then the eyes are all, and this child sees her own face on the face of Clinton. I will never forget that image, and I never the scream. That's how evil these people are. Somebody says,
and let's talk why they do that. They do that to scare the child to death so that they get more of their drug.
Right.
So again, everything's just transactional for them. They're truly evil. They might be draconian or reptilian.
I don't think that they are. I think there's just plenty of sellouts. I think there's just
they have to be soulless. They cannot feel for other people at all. They cannot. They have to be pure, evil, sociopaths. I mean, psychopaths, excuse me. They're 100%. They have no feelings for other people. A person is no different than a pencil or a worm. They feel they're so important that they can just treat other people that way. They have such a large ego that they believe it's okay to do that. That is so bizarre to me to comprehend that they think they're so special that they can do that.
Well,
because that has to be their attitude.
It does, and it's hard for me to put myself in that position. Like, as an example, when my dog passed, I was upset for a year.
Mm-hmm. And they would have just barbecued it.
Yeah, they would just got another dog instantly because it fits an image for them.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is if this is all true, and a lot of people just don't want to accept it. I remember about 10 years ago when I started seeing evidence of this stuff. I remember how shocking it was. Like it was the first thing I seen was a video about Disney, and it might be 15 years ago now, but they're talking about how the MTV Music Awards with Britney Spears and Madonna was a satanic ritual. And I don't know what that how many years ago that was, but it was quite a while ago since she's like now completely irrelevant. But I was like, that is total bullshit. And it took me about a year where I kept seeing things to start to get to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going to look into this. But it all comes together now in my mind is from the because one of the things we could have done as well as this is the idea of money magic, which also comes from the Babylonian occult. It's the whole idea of enslaving people through magic, money, and debt.
In addiction.
And so, but I watched the video on how there was no way out, and this was probably back in 2012 and 2013 when I was first getting into crypto, is how there was that the money that we were making, no matter what we did or how good the country ran, that it was eventually going to go bankrupt because of the Fed.
Because they borrow it into existence, and so therefore to pay back what you owe plus the principal, there's not enough money in existence. So someone has to go bankrupt for you to be able to pay your debts. And could you imagine sitting there going, well, that's what I have to do business. I have to make sure that other people go out of business. Otherwise, I'm the one that's going to go out of business because they're charging more than they've given us. In other words, they loan you $1,000,
but you owe them $1,010.
They want $200. They want $1,200 back.
Right.
But there's no $1,200 to pay it back with, only $1,000.
Yes.
So you go under.
And so,
unless you borrow that $200.
From where they have to make that up too. And then
you owe $2,200
because
plus the $1,200.
And so that's what is, by the way, one of the reasons we talk about Bitcoin on this channel is because that system is one of the systems where you're not borrowing money into existence at an interest rate. It's being created, and all of the debt to create that money is paid in the upfront, so that once the money is made, is free and clear, and it exists forever.
That's why in the Torah and the New Testament that lending money at interest is prohibited.
Well, they sure like to do a lot of it if it's so prohibited.
Well, they do it because what they do is they go back in their sacred texts, the Talmud, and say that everyone who isn't like them is not a human, so they can screw them over by charging them interest. So in other words, they just explain away their good book with another book that isn't as good. Human condition.
Well, there's a couple other. Do you have anything that you want to share?
Well, basically, we're going over the same things, and I did have. Where did it go? Okay. Well, this is. I asked for the key elements of the lizard people mythos. What did it start from? Literary and occult roots. It emerged in the 1920s and the 1940s in the modern time. Of course, as we know, this started in Babylon. So this is a little inaccurate. We all know it started in Babylon. And in the modern development was the theory gained traction in ufology, UFO stuff, and alien abduction accounts in 1967. It started taking root. An incorporated extraterrestrial hypothesis suggesting the origins from constellations like Draco and Orion, and parallel dimensions. And a prominent component of these, the British conspiracy theorist David Icke, or Ike, however you want to pronounce his name, I call it Icke, is the primary popularized detailing the 1990 book, The Biggest Secret. And basically what he's saying in this biggest secret is everything that it says in Christianity, except he renames everything because he doesn't want to be on the side of any one religion. The reptilians from Alpha Draconis hide in the underground bases. And it claims that figures like the Rothschilds and the Bush families and the Royals and Merovingians dynasties are reptilian descendants. And so the people who are controlling our world are reptilians.
And hence the name Blue
and
Bloods.
They come from their proponents, and it ties into the ancient Sumerian Anunnaki or biblical serpent people. And so this stuff has been going on forever. This religion is old. This they call it a technology for controlling people. including MK Ultra and all that stuff. The trauma-based mind control is not new. It's been around for thousands of years. We used it. Certain occult groups taught it to the CIA, or they were the CIA, and then they went and used it on people for military reasons, and including trying things like LSD and other drugs, which I think was a myth. They didn't try it. They might have used LSD on them, but it was to scare them, not to mind control them. They thought that it would make them more suggestible, and all it did is scare the crap out of them. And then they said, hey, well, we have something that we can really scare people with. Maybe we can make some money with this by selling some adrenochrome. They would never do that, right? Impossible.
No, it's obviously possible and probable, it seems. There's just too many. Like, I could have given you.
We could have gone on. We can go on for months. This stuff happens every day.
Right. And the astounding amount of celebrities who are, have accounts of this kind of stuff, it's actually staggering. Just one after the other. And the higher the celebrity, status is, a lot of times, the more they seem to be involved in it. I don't think every Joe Blow that's ever acted in a bit part is a part of this, circle of dementia.
The circle jerk of doom.
Yes. And consequently, we did the Anunnaki thing yesterday, our last episode. I found a staggering amount of stuff about that after we did the show. Mm-hmm. There are literally hundreds or thousands of videos on X that pertain to this. And I think that, if you guys like this kind of content or you're finding it interesting in any way, you need to look into it yourselves. The biggest thing that they have as an advantage is they've conditioned us all to laugh at it, and they've turned it into tinfoil hat stuff that, oh, this is a movie plot, or this is, some wacky fictional thing. It's not real. All of that is part of the plan to help cover up what they're doing. And
what they're doing is they're trying to make you fear, and that's the biggest thing. If you fear, like, for example, you fear sticking your nose in someone getting murdered on the train. If I was seeing that happen, I would have stepped right over and punched that guy as hard as I could in the face. I didn't care if I get stabbed. I would have rung his bell. He would have dropped the damn knife too.
And that's what I'm saying earlier is, obviously the thing with Charlie Kirk is, not something that that any one person probably could have stopped at that point. But the fact that we have been conditioned to accept it, I promise you by Sunday, nobody will be talking about it. The outrage, the people wanting to see change, we're so conditioned to just move on to the next thing.
And the Christians are the biggest offenders of that.
That's what I'm saying.
This thing, because they actually believe that the Bible says when you're never supposed to protect yourself, that you're supposed to get slapped and take it. When it says in the Bible, when you get slapped, to turn the other cheek, a slap is an insult, not a physical attack. In old language, a slap meant if you were slapped in the face, someone insulted you, and you're supposed to take the insult twice because you have two cheeks. You're not just, sit there for the rest of your life, listen to the person insult you. That doesn't mean you beat them up either. That means you respond with insulting them back.
It means I beat them up.
Well, yeah, you can.
That's what it means for me. And I don't take any slaps.
Someone tries to beat you up, they get what they get. I mean, we're not put here on this earth to die helplessly, because the meek shall inherit the earth, not the weak. People don't even know what meek means. Meek means a soldier with a sword who doesn't use it. He has discernment. A strong person using discernment, not someone who gets bullied. That's not. They didn't say the weak shall inherit the earth. It was the meek. Look it up. Look it up in Greek.
The and some of that is true, I guess. That is partly the Christians, trying to be the better person type of thing. I'll be honest with you, that's been my biggest gripe with religion, is the whole idea of being the lamb to the slaughter. I don't even like it when I hear it in sermons. I don't like that idea at all.
We're not a deity that can be killed and come back. You need to defend your family. Do you see anything in any of the Old Testament or New Testament where people didn't defend their family?
I think you have to defend more than your family. That is the first step. But you have to look at your culture and your
brothers
people.
and sisters. Who do you in those vernacular back then? Your brothers and sisters were the people who lived with you and had the same belief system as you. That group of people around you all the time was your brothers and sisters, not just your direct brothers and sisters, but brothers and sisters in faith and brothers and sisters in culture. You have to have some sort of organization to protect yourself. You can't be out there by yourself and never defending yourself, because then it's just a matter of months you'd be wiped out.
And that's what's happening, and that's what I think. The corruption and the infiltration of various religious organizations, the reason they do that and the reason they want to influence religion is they want to convince people not to fight. And the best way to do that is to say, oh, you're being a good person by dying easily. And I see that as stupid. And people can tell me that I have a temper. I've done some stupid things in fits of rage. And I'm sorry when I went too far, but I've also done a lot of, people, I've saved people. Almost all of my friends when I was young, I literally saved them from getting their ass beat. So it is what it is. And I think that's what, going back to all of this that we're talking about, that we've been talking about all night, is because people are not willing to stand up and fight the evil. The reason it's persistent, we won't call it out. We won't point it because we're scared we're going to look like lunatics. That's why I've never talked about it.
It's evil. Evil is you're fighting, in my view, transdimensional beings that are coming to life through humans, and you can't let evil destroy the culture completely. That's just retarded. You're going to be so nice that there's none of you left. That's
and that's why we're in decline.
I have a hard time dealing with that. If that's what Christianity says, I've misunderstood it.
I don't think Christianity says that. I think that's the interpretation that people are putting out now. Meanwhile, the Muslims are converting by the sword. Convert or die. And so, there's 2 trillion of them, and there's like 6 of us. Everybody that is a Christian,
that's about that's about the right ratio. If we get in a war, it'll be fair then.
The unfortunate thing
I'm sorry, I'm part Polish. We fought them for thousands of years, and they bring up 10-1 against us, and we beat them. So
I don't know any Polacks.
Read Michener's Poland. You'll see. They sent 100,000 Moors against 10,000 Poles or something.
Yes,
and, the Poles won.
I seen the battle for Helm's Deep,
and that's exactly what that battle was. It was taken from the battle.
I wonder if Tolkien actually wrote that first or after.
That happened in history, in the 1500s. So that happened first. But he was a big fan of military history.
So well, he had to be. He wrote every one of his movies was about good versus evil and military battles. And that's what we need. We need people like Aragon, and we need our Frodos too. And we just don't have them anymore. People are just not willing to take any risk for anybody else, and that's really where they've gotten us. Whether it was COVID,
and if they do, it never gets on. It's never going to get on television. They're never going to show it. There's people doing heroic things all the time. Every time someone shoots somebody that breaks into their house, the people breaking in have weapons, and the person inside shoots them and never gets in the news because they don't want anybody to know that guns actually work and that they kill the bad guys. They want them to think that all they do is mass murders in schools.
Well, I don't think that, but I don't think we have enough people that are willing to shoot people breaking into their house. That's and I don't want people being shot. But if
they break into my house and they're partially the way in, and I have a gun, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to shoot your ass. I'll let them run away. If they keep coming in, I'm going to, put a bunch of holes in them.
Yeah, I would let them run away too.
Of course, that's what we have to say. We're on the internet.
But these.
But this is in Texas. We don't live in Texas. In Texas, you could shoot them in someone else's property and drag them back to yours, and you're okay.
They were thinking about coming onto my property.
That's right. That's all they needed.
They looked at my horses. Anyways,
that's why I love Texas. I lived there for years. I love Texas. So, if anybody's from Texas watching this, I love your state.
Most people are from Florida, but hopefully we start growing and we get a whole bunch of people from everywhere. Ultimately though, the things that we're seeing in these videos and what we've talked about today is something that has existed a very long time. And if we don't, I don't think you can get rid of it completely, but if people don't recognize what it is and we keep pretending that it's not happening, it's going to overwhelm the country. And
let's see how tough they are.
They're not very tough.
They're not like Christians. I don't think they're willing to die for their religion. Put them to the test. Make them defend themselves.
Well, I wish we could. I wish we could. The issue is
I think Trumpy's tired of it.
Well, Charlie Kirk was a. Oh yeah. I have another video.
And the other guy who was going around on campuses debating, he's retired now. He retired. So there's no one left. That older guy with the big nose and narrow face, he always was doing the speeches and on campuses. He did it for 30 years. If you don't know I don't remember his name, but he's been doing it forever. He has a strange name. But if you've seen him, you recognize him right away.
We had quite a few people doing it. We had
but he was way beyond Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk did it just recently. This guy's been doing it, since the 1980s.
But we also had Crowder doing it, and we had a Milo something or other doing it, and they all got picked on and run off because they had issues or whatever that they were, and so they stopped doing it. But there is one that says this. One last video. I actually didn't watch it all the way through. I watched a little bit of it, but it's talking about something that Trump's doing. It says this is going to get to wake a bunch of people up.
Okay, where is that?
It's
FBI profile talks, adrenochrome, simulations you never heard about, symbolism, their downfall. This is going to take a bunch of people.
That one.
Satan. Okay.
Well, the one about the cloning, where the celebrities, they have a mental breakdown and then they come back as clones. They point to what's his name? The black dude that used to be on Living Color. He had a mental breakdown, and he comes back and his tattoos are missing.
Uh,
uh,
the post. He's putting the truth out in plain sight, and he's making it so clear to see. This is now starting to connect all the dots. This one connects the Feds to the Pope to the Vatican to the Rothschilds, and it'd be the Rothschilds that connect us to the gold. The gold destroys the Fed, and it'd be a cycle. But the Rothschilds would connect us to Big Pharma. The Rothschilds would connect us to the corrupt education system. The Rothschilds would connect us to the banking system, and the Rothschilds would then connect us to the royal family. It's all connected. He said if the Fed had followed what we published, they would have raised the rates in early 2021. The entire organization is broken. It needs to be fixed. And in the middle, it says they don't believe that money supply matters. It's like the Pope not believing in Jesus. We think that's a much bigger problem than this notion that they are dependent or they're not independent. But look at that phrase. It's like the Pope not believing in Jesus. Well, this is where it's going to become a reality for a lot of people. The Catholic population of the world is in the billions. It's going to wake up a lot more people. So the Q post says the US Holy See relations. The Holy See is the universal government of the Catholic Church and operates from the Vatican City State, a sovereign independent territory. The Pope is the ruler of both Vatican City State and the Holy See. The Holy See, as the supreme body of government of the Catholic Church, is a sovereign jurisdictional entity under international law. Look, wealth, power, sanctuary against criminal prosecution, that's a recipe for disaster. And then they show us the auditorium in the Vatican. It says the Pope's audience hall looking like a snake pit. That's some sick shit. And you can clearly go and find lots of examples of that building. It also shows us the Pope in a Nazi pin tag with the communist symbol. It says P equals Pope. Pope will be having a terrible May. Those who backed him will be pushed into the light, dark to light. And it's the Rothschilds that back the Pope. List the estimated wealth of religious organizations, billions. Vatican Bank, $229 billion. Board of Superintendents, Supervisory Commission of Cardinals, Clown Connection, 18.
They're worth more than that. Maybe 269 trillion.
Yes.
32 Rothschild loan to the Holy See. So the Rothschilds loan to the Holy See. The next image shows the guardian of the Pope, and it's the image of the owl, which is the Rothschilds. And this is where you can see it's all connected. It says the ultimate win for them is death plus money. The Fed, Rothschilds, conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. And the big choice is yours. Revelations, enough is enough. It's the Rothschilds that own all the banks around the world, or did own the banks. The Fed and the IRS. Fact. US Federal Reserve is a privately owned company sitting on its very own patch of land, immune to US laws. Not anymore. And it says, Q, do we have the gold? And Q says, yes, gold shall destroy the Fed. But there's another meaning for gold. Look, the image of the Rothschilds. It says Rothschild photo with covered in gold and Y head symbolism. And it says gold. Gold shall destroy the Fed. So once we find out the truth about the Rothschilds and how it's all connected, it will destroy all those involved. And then it takes us into the big topics that brings the whole world in. Uranium One, Canada, Europe, Asia, Iran, North Korea, the Iran nuclear deal. Look, what does it mean to be covered in gold? Which couple was photographed covered in gold? The public release was a mistake. Who released the picture? Who has all the information? Look, why? What does it mean to be covered in gold? Can you locate one other picture with Y head covered in gold? What does this represent? The NSA released it all, but it represents ancient Egyptians considered gold the skin of the gods, specifically the sun god Ra, and often used it to craft objects of spiritual significance. Why is this relevant? They always thought they were the gods, holding all the money, controlling all the banks, controlling all the government officials, controlling the big pharmaceutical world, making the world sick, and then providing the medicine to keep them on that hamster wheel. It's all connected, and Donald Trump's made it very clear. It's like the Pope not believing in Jesus. We truly are in the revelations.
Oh, well, we're on a preamble up to the Revelations. We're not there yet. I haven't seen any flying monkeys yet.
What do you mean? You're seeing flying monkeys all the time. Anyway,
Well,
so
my computer just crashed.
what do you mean? You're still on? Are you
I don't know
there?
what just happened, but yeah, it's my computer's seizing up. It looks like I have some sort of bandwidth problems or something.
You were having a little bit of audio issue, but I didn't want to jinx it, so you've been Mr. Roboto about 10% of the time, at least for me.
I'll circle back. Okay.
You're circling back. Well, I that's all of the videos, and we could rehash it, but that's all the information I have. Other than that, when you look at it, we kind of jumped over the middle ground, but some of the other names of these people have been the Knights Templar, and they all basically, the Knight Templars worship Baphomet, and they did sodomy, and so basically the music industry. Medieval witch trials, again, child sacrifice and cannibalism. The Renaissance occultism, and we could. There's, I'm not gonna. Some people point to things like Leonardo da Vinci being a Satanist or whatever. I don't know.
He was just gay.
Well, he did also buy a bunch of corpses and dissect them. He drew pictures of it too.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. I think that was just his story. That was his story, and he was sticking with it.
Right. Well, he did produce the artwork. I mean, whether it was for what reason, who knows? The Rosicrucians claim secret ancient knowledge that goes back to Babylon and Egypt. Of course, the Freemasons, secret oaths, blood symbolism, ritualism, death and rebirth, echoing the Babylonian rites. The Bavarian.
Don't forget sodomy. Don't forget the sodomy.
Yeah, again, the sodomy. The Bavarian Illuminati. Again, same sort of thing, sought to unify elites under a single occult plan for global control. The banking dynasties of the Rothschilds, which we're currently experiencing, and that goes from the 1800s to now. I mean, the Rothschilds, which we're still talking about, we just had a video on it, and the Rockefellers, they've been basically in power since the early 1800s. And again, it's the repetition of the child sacrifice, the firstborn child, even JFK being murdered. That was just a public first child murder. That's just another, and then their family's a political dynasty forever. It's the same occult practices over and over again. Going through all the way up to today. I mean, if you look at the last few Super Bowls, the halftime messaging in there is, I mean, they're dressed in all red with devil horns and tails. How much more on the nose can you get? And that's why I don't watch any public sports or any.
I repent. I repent for all that.
Well, it's changed a lot. 20, 30 years ago, it was about sportsmanship and good behavior. Maybe even longer than that, but it's been on a decline, as has the American way. And unfortunately, we find ourselves, I think, near the bottom. And if people, and my message is, if people don't start taking it into their own hands to care about and take action about certain things that they see. I mean, everybody's going to do some miraculous thing, but if you can make a slight change in your own personal setup, Maybe you have a neighborhood filled with crime and you got a bunch of bums and shit hanging around your place robbing everybody. Nobody's going to make them leave but you. And so you got to do what you got to do sometimes. And if you're not going to do it, don't expect anyone else to do it.
Yeah, because 90% of homeless people are drug addicts and mentally ill people. 10% are people down on their luck.
And you know, the 10% aren't sticking up old ladies in your neighborhood either.
No, they're, you can tell as soon as you talk to them who they are.
So,
and the ones who are scanning you up and down and trying to figure out how much money you have as soon as they talk to you, those are not the ones you want to be giving any money.
I go around because we have a little bit of a homeless problem around here. When they hit me up for money, I try to lure them into my vehicle. Come on, big boy, let's go for a ride out east.
Come on, no more of that. Masonry stuff. Come on.
It's a one-way trip for them.
You gonna hoodwink them?
Probably not, but it's fun to think about, isn't it? Anyways,
no, it's not. It's just funny.
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm back. Okay. I keep losing my bandwidth temporarily.
Are your kids playing like I don't know?
Probably.
Yeah.
They're probably watching a movie online or something. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do we got? It's Wednesday. I don't want to be up till like 2:00 in the morning, so I guess we can round it out. Do you got anything? Any final thoughts?
No, it's just that it's an old religion. It's been going on forever. It's still going on. The elites are drawn to it because they think it can get them power. It's against everything, good. And it's about control and taking advantage and scaring people. It's just nasty stuff, and it's been going on since Babylon, and people just keep using it because people really want to be famous and stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing what people will do for a handful of fake money. The record is clear. Every empire falls to the same occult elites, worshiping blood and power under occult gods. Babylon, Rome, the Templars, the Illuminati, Epstein. The pattern is never ending. And unless we expose it...
If you look at all of them, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, and I guess the Europeans now, they all fell to sexual immorality. They broke up the family, and famously, the Greeks are famous for that, unfortunately. And they fell, and along with those other practices, they're not at home taking care of their family. They're out doing some nonsense, meeting some guy by a dumpster someplace.
They had dumpsters back then?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. Anyway, so unless we expose it, the occult will rule forever. So stay sharp, stay awake, and don't let the narrative die in their hands.
Nothing to see here. It's all conspiracy theory.
If you guys could leave a comment, if you made it this far, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, all that jazz. And before we go, we haven't really kicked around any ideas for Friday. What are you thinking for Friday?
I don't have any idea at this point.
I have a little bit of one. I have a little bit of one that we've kind of talked a little bit about, but I think it's interesting. Is looking at all the architecture in the Americas, even just in the Americas, but in Europe and all that stuff, where it seems like that the buildings were built for somebody else.
And it could be that the original buildings were built for somebody else, and we've been copying them ever since.
It could be that, or it could be that the buildings that were built for somebody else, and that how long ago that wasn't 2 or 3,000 years ago. That there's been some sort of compression or maybe lie put in the narrative of our history. It happened 2,000 years ago when it happened 200 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an interesting thing. Go look at the ruins of Pompeii. What I couldn't get over when I was looking at it is how it looked like something like when I go up to Rhode Island and I notice all the red brick buildings, and it looks like Rhode Island. It looks like
except with 50 foot of ash over it.
Yes, but the doorways are and everything. It looks like very modern construction. It doesn't look like 2,000-year-old buildings.
Well, they've been making bricks a long time, and they've gotten real good at laying them flat and straight. When I look at brickwork, I'm still amazed how level and how straight it is. It just absolutely amazes me when I see a large building built out of it and how straight they get, how perfect they get it. It's quite a skill, especially the mold buildings that they used to have in Savannah with all the extremely ornate brick on them and different patterns they'd have on them, and it was just it's amazing. Even this house that I live in now, it has brick around the outside of it, and the brickwork is just amazing. Excellent brickwork. Those masons.
Them damn masons. They're not all bad.
Of course not.
Just mostly.
It's just like, it's probably the people at the top. You know how that goes. Yep. The ones who really want to be there, willing to do anything.
All right, guys.
I must be in charge.
I mean, they can't earn it. Not the legitimate way, but they want to be in charge so bad.
And that's the saying, is the people who really want to be in charge are absolutely the people who shouldn't be. It's the ones who don't want to be in charge, and they should promote to that position, because they're not going to abuse their power. They don't want it. So,
Well, and that's like in Gladiator, with Maximus. He
reluctantly was pulled into that stuff. Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, that is actually the whole point of Game of Thrones. Is the guy that should be leading. He keeps giving up power until he's just. Anyways, it's worth watching.
Okay.
I will see you. So we're gonna do architecture.
That sounds good.
Okay. I'll talk to you about it, but I'll see you on Friday.
Okay. See you on Friday.